So Celeste, I kind of raised as a spellcaster. I gave her like 10 Shiva levels, which is 20 magic. And then the rest of her levels, I raised her with Seraph, which gives HP MP. The Minerva here is basically going to block most of the damage that I'm taking from just about every source. Just in case, I'm going to throw the full gamut of buffs. My phone just keeps slinging an unknown at me. Let me just take a quick look at this. Okay, so my phone just had a freak out, that's all. Hey Lisa, how's it going? So the basic idea in this fight is to just sling Bolt 3 until I can't sling Bolt 3 anymore. Which is about the time he enters the Crane's program. When he enters the Crane's program, he uses Barrier, which gives him Reflect and Shell. So I'll have to switch up to Murton for a bit. That sucks, Lisa. I'm sorry to hear that you're at work. You're having a good day regardless. I don't know if you've ever seen FF6 Brave New World before. So I can't remember if he's okay. He does phase transition every 25,000 hit points. I've also been saving just about every ether and elixir I've come across this game, just for Celeste in this tower. So Evil Toot's a status attack. It inflicts, it's like Imp, Sleep, maybe Mute, Berserk. It's not that scary, especially when you're wearing a ribbon. I don't think it does anything. Now he's in the Dataluma phase, where he summons some crap. also jumps, which, as you can see, does pretty pitiful damage. The only other thing he does is he throws either pointy sticks or spoons. He also nets, which I just have to tank. He also gains that counter attack at some point, but he doesn't use it terribly often, so it's not really something you need to concern yourself with. And there's the spoons that he throws. I was actually worried about that. I had no idea how much damage that was going to do. So I'm glad to see that it does manageable damage. But once I get him past the Dataluma phase, I think it's pretty much smooth sailing. And that missed that time, awesome. Spoon is unavoidable damage, so it's kind of scary. Thankfully it has a low hit percentage. Or not a low hit percentage, a low battle power. So here's where he barriers, and we have to switch our offense up for a little while, at least until Reflect wears off, which I don't even know when that's going to be. Oh, that's terrible damage. I'm also going to have to combat with Atomic Ray. See how much the Omega weapon does here. About the same. I'd rather hit him with that than have to use Merton for crap damage. So this is unfortunately the part of the fight where it becomes a slugfest, just because he gains shell, and I have no way to dispel it. I can't remember if Gigavolt. Yes, it does inflict seizure. So this is the form of annoying seizure attacks, as well as shell. I think each form only has 6 attacks they use for each turn, as well as a spell they cast upon entering that phase, which in this case for Cranes was Barrier. And an attack that they use every 30 global ticks, which in this case is Magnitude. The battle script for this fight is actually very complicated, and props to BTB for working that out. So Merton doing that low damage kind of has me worried a little bit now. The ISIS fight may go way poorly than I expected it to. Because it was mostly relying on Merton damage. And if Merton does that little to somebody with Shell, that's not good. Hopefully it's just that Guardian has abnormally high magic defense. So once he enters the next phase, I'll probably start slinging bolts again. They won't do terrific damage, but what I forgot to do, of all things, I forgot to cast slow. So the Minerva is protecting me from fire, ice, and bolt damage. It negates all three, as well as giving 25% additional max MP. Pretty nice piece of equipment. It also boosts your magic power. Perhaps also your vigor. I honestly don't quite recall. So the Omega weapon pierces defense. It's supposed to do the same damage from the back row and the front row, but it's either bugged or it just doesn't. Okay, so now he's in the Doomgaze program. This is where the Death Ward comes in handy. So unfortunately, my damage is going to be somewhat neutered. Hero I actually do need to look out for because it also inflicts seizure. Yeah, Doomsbane, the Omega weapon is pretty important for both Celeste's and Edgar's fights. It not only gives you +7 to all stats, it's really powerful when you are high level and have high amounts of HP. It also, as I said, it ignores defense. So, I mean, it's just a great all-around weapon. You get it by betting the Atma weapon at the Coliseum, and you get the Omega weapon. by, I think, 3 or 4 characters. Celeste, possibly Terra, Edgar, and Locke. Not entirely sure on Locke, but I'd have to check. Missed, so I don't have to waste the turn using Regen. Condemn is thankfully blocked by the ribbon. Strangely enough, the Death Ward does not block Condemn. Should be phase transitioning soon. Okay, here he goes into the phase transition now. He casts Safe, which we don't really care about. Acid Rain's not a concern. I believe he also Quasars. He casts Raid, which is crappy because he's going to heal my enemy. I don't think Quasar from him is too scary either. Yeah, 400 damage. It's Quasar is not that strong of a spell. Its scariness comes from it ignoring all defense. And he's gonna steal my MP again. Take all of it. Fire-Right's a poison attack that also inflicts poison. Since we're ribboned, we don't have to worry about it. And the shitty thing about Raid is even if you dodge the drain, the Osmos part of it can still hit you. So I think he's dead now. That's Guardian, ladies and gentlemen.